program for breaking news from ABC 11 Eyewitness News.
And we are bringing you breaking news at RDU Airport.
That's right. A plane is being diverted to RDU due to an emergency. I want to show you some live pictures from Raleigh-Durham International Airport. It is an American Airlines flight 1787. It was flying from Washington, D.C. on its way to Orlando. And you can see from these live pictures right now, this is the plane. And we're told it has a fuel leak under its right wing. But again, this is an American Airlines flight that left Washington, D.C. on its way to Orlando, now making an emergency landing at RDU.
It's a Boeing 737-800 for American Airlines, and it departed from Washington around 8:15 this morning for Orlando. You're looking at live pictures now. Of course, there'll be the normal protocol when they're expecting an emergency at the airport. They'll have fire and first responder crews there just in case, as we continue to watch the plane as it begins to land. Of course, the great majority of these circumstances end well, and everything ends up well with nobody hurt or anything. So let's just watch just a second as it lands.
Wow.
And looks like
There we
a
go.
normal landing.
Wheels down. It looks like everything is smooth. We'll wait to it to come to a complete stop. And I know that's a lot of relief for everybody on board, and especially the passengers and the flight crew and the pilot. And it looks like this American Airlines flight 1787 has made a successful emergency landing here at RDU. Fuel leak under the right wing, left Washington, D.C. on its way to Orlando and is making a stop at RDU. It looks like it's a good landing.
166 people on board. They'll be transferred to another plane and hopefully be back on their way shortly. But all looks well here from this viewpoint and this angle at RDU Airport.
That is a relief. Taxiing its way to the gate, and we'll see when those emergency crews arrive to help. And gosh, it's so nice to know that this emergency landing was successful and safe.
The flight in question is American Flight 1787, and it is now taxiing on the runway, pulling into the terminal, I guess, where there will be a transfer of those passengers on board. You even wonder if they felt anything unusual because it landed so smoothly. I'm sure there was an announcement made. They had to tell them the flight was diverted. You see the fire truck behind the plane there, but all looks well and steady from here.
All right. Okay, so again, this flight 1787 American Airlines left Washington, D.C. on its way to Orlando, and we just saw live it make a successful landing. Now taxiing to see if they're, obviously they may have to get another plane. We'll see what happens, but hopefully they can make the successful next leg of their trip safely to Orlando.
I was trying to see if you could notice any fuel leaking from the engine. I can't see anything from this vantage point. It may be they released much of the fuel as they were circling the airport a few minutes ago. Or maybe it was just a small leak. We're not sure.
You see some of the support staff there going behind the plane, and not sure if we'll just watch and see what they do at this point. You said 160 people on board.
166 people aboard. For some of these situations, they'll actually foam the runways and put a fire retardant foam on the runway just to make sure nothing happens. But we haven't seen that happen here at RDU.
So just watching to see what happens now. The first part of this is, you know, so far so good, seeing the landing go so well. We'll see what they do now with this plane.
You're looking at live pictures from RDU Airport, where a American Airlines flight has been diverted because of a fuel leak. Flight from Washington to Orlando this morning left about 8:15 or so, and you see the support staff, first responders trailing the, well, just not trailing, but right behind the flight in question. Another vehicle pulling up to the side. I'm wondering if they will take them to the terminal, or they just have the passengers disembark right there.
I don't know, we will see. Again, this is the fuel leak was under the right wing, and we were told that the plane was circling. Weren't exactly sure where it was circling, but we do know that The next thing we knew, it was headed into RDU. We watched it land live safely, and so we'll see. Taxied now, and now waiting to see what the next move is to either get the plane repaired or to get the passengers off and diverted on a new flight for their destination.
Well, at least one thing they don't have to worry about is inclement weather. Beautiful day for a flight, and hopefully this situation will be resolved soon and they can get back on their way.
Not only just a pretty day, John, but also we're going to have nice temperatures today in the 80s, not the excessive heat that we've had here lately. So that's nice too.
This is a Boeing 737-800. Starting to move again. Maybe it is moving to the terminal.
All right, so the plane is starting to move now. We'll see if it goes to a gate or how they handle this situation, what they're going to do. Slowly moving toward the gate area of RDU International Airport.
I'm still not seeing any signs of fuel on the runway or leaking down below. That doesn't mean it's not happening. I just can't see it from this vantage point.
And continuing to taxi. If you're just now tuning in, this is a flight, American Airlines flight 1787 out of Washington, headed for Orlando today. Had a fuel leak and now is made an emergency landing safely at Raleigh-Durham International Airport. There's a close-up, and I agree with you, John. Don't see anything just right now yet in terms of the leak. And that would be the wing right there, the right wing, where the leak occurred.
This Boeing 737 is what they call a narrow-body aircraft. It's powered by 2 jet engines produced by Boeing. It was launched in 1993 as the third-generation derivative of the Boeing 737. And American seems particularly pleased with this aircraft because they have a bunch of them.
And as you said, John, usually these situations end well, and we're glad that this is that situation too, in terms of what we've seen so far live, watching it land, watching it taxi, headed now toward the gate area. And then we can see, hopefully, the passengers and the folks on board, all 166, deplane successly.
But the fact that it's going to the terminal is a very good sign.
Yeah.
It means they don't think that anything is going to cause any kind of explosion or anything like that. Nice and safe and sound.
All right, I'm just hearing too from our producer, this plane was built in 2009, and it's getting right there up to the jetway. Looks like there will be a traditional deplaning for those passengers and crew members.
166 people on board having their flight diverted, but you know, it's an inconvenience, but if something like that is happening, you want to make sure you're on a safe plane.
Better believe it, and you can get down on the ground as soon as possible and as safely as possible, and it definitely looks like this is the case. I'm very glad to see that.
So as we continue to watch these live pictures, you see the crew on the ground there approaching. They will have the passengers disembark, and they'll get on another plane and continue on, and they will then examine this airplane thoroughly to make sure it's safe to fly again.
And we appreciate you watching us and this watching this safe landing of American Airlines 1787 from Washington, D.C. to Orlando with a fuel leak. Had to make an emergency landing at RDU. You see the jetway getting closer to the plane, and hope for a safe flight and hopefully some good repairs and some successful repairs for this plane.
All right, we'll have an update on the situation on Eyewitness News at noon, and that is our report for now.
This has been breaking news from ABC 11 Eyewitness News. We now return to our regularly scheduled program.